Alrighty, well, I got today off of work because a Food Safety Administration was going to come in and fumigate the warehouse for insect control, so nobody can be in the building while that's going on. So I got Friday off, 3-day weekend. So, since I can't cut any beans, it's actually for once a nice day out. There we got a slight chance of rain, but I don't think it's going to happen. Just colder than Billy, well, not colder than Billy hell, but cold for what it's been the last few days. There's a slight outside, not very good chance might be able to cut beans this afternoon, but I'm not holding my breath for it. Tomorrow, on the other hand, should be able to knock shit out of them. It's cold, but it's breezy, so hopefully the breeze will make up for lack of heat and dry them out. But I'm off of corn for a while because them other two fields are still too wet, and it's not even November yet, so I'm not in all too that much of a hurry to get it off because I don't want the moisture docked. So anyway, these are new fenders for the 1950. Obviously that one fender's rotted the fuck out, and it's actually getting to the point where now that I got all the dirt knocked out of what was left of the supports, it's actually flopping over far enough it's smacking the tire, so kind of need to fix that. So we found these from a guy we buy a lot of our big parts from over in Minnesota. Actually got a fairly good deal on them. They weren't on a tractor when he got them. He picked them up just like they sit, and he got them, texted Dad the pictures of them, and we bought them the same day, so he was more than happy to get rid of them for a fair price. So I was happy with them, and they're exactly what I was looking for. They're good, solid, original fenders with good original paint on them. Most of it, like this stuff right here, is just dust and crap. It'll wax off. Still got the original operator safety sticker on there. The one thing that's wrong, the one thing that's not correct about them, actually there's a couple things, but one of them I'm gonna get fixed by swapping parts off of my fenders. Is these are off of a 55 series because they've got the fender stripes on them, which should not be on there for a 50 series. So I'm going to try to take a heat gun and a plastic scraper and get them off of there. This fender's got a little bit of a doink in it right here, but that's easy to beat out and fix. And then this fender, we're not exactly sure what the hell they did. There's a hole right here, but it's not rust. It's actually, well, they torched the strut off right here, and then that hole's tore in the fender. But all that's going to get covered up, and you'll never see it. And maybe one day, if and when I ever decide to paint this tractor, which probably won't happen, we'll fix it. But I'm not that worried about it. So there's going to be a big old fender washer here, and most of that'll be covered up by a fender washer, so yeah, you'll never even see it. And then this will be, the fender bracket will be right here, so you'll never see that either. This one's got the original, really nice original taillight in it. Still got the original, and this is the other reason you know it was off of a 55 series. Is because when they put the sticker like this on the 50 series, it was Oliver for Men Who Grow, and then when they went to the 55 series, it was Oliver the Time Maker. So but this one's got a nice tail light in it. This one's got, you can't see it because it's on the wrong side, but it's got a good headlight in it. But it's a 55 series headlight, so it's got a steel cone with a rubber benzel in it. So I'm going to take my lights off the T and put on here, because those are steel shell with a steel benzel. And then, yeah, I got to pull pull wire in them, obviously. The nice thing about these fenders is they've already got the holes in them for the flashers, which I'm going to add on to it at some point, just for safety purposes. So, yeah. All in all, not too bad of a deal for some really nice solid fenders. And throw some wax on there, get that paint shine back up a little bit. It'll blend right into the tractor. You'll never know the difference. Well, you guys will know the difference, but nobody else will ever know the difference. Especially once I get them stickers off of there. Except for this one, I'm leaving this one because I like that. So, anyway, go ahead and get them things flopped up and get some wire pulled through them so we can get them on the tractor. Check out what I just found. Damn it. Damn it. Damn it. Nan it. Nan it. Nan it. Nan it. Nan it. Nan it. Nan. Can't remember the last time I seen a praying mantis. And of all places, I found it hiding under the lathe in the shop. Huh. Praying mantises and walking sticks. The two things I haven't seen in forever. And yes, he is alive. You can see his mouth parts moving there. Extreme close up. Anyway. Alrighty, the other fender's already done it on the tractor, but this is the one that took the most work. This is the one that had the hickey in it up here, and I managed to get most of it beat back out, but whatever they ran into and or fell on it was sharp. And it's got a doink in it right there that I can't get out without making a custom tool to go in there and reform that bend, which I'm not too concerned with right now. Plus, I don't know, it gives a little bit of character, I guess. But unless you know what you're looking for now, you can't even really see it. There's still a little bit of a crease in it right there, but I didn't want to beat too hard, start popping paint off. Plus, these things are made out of heavy enough iron. I had to beat on it with a 3-pound sledgehammer, and most of the damage I was able to do underneath here, so you can't see it. I didn't really want to do a whole lot of that to the top, so I just quit while I was ahead. And the light, well, here, this is the fender. This is the bad fender. There's, I don't even know what the hell is holding on the tractor anymore, because this strut's gone, that strut's gone. I almost ripped it off the tractor by hand when I was pulling the bolts out, because I grabbed out of the fender while I was pulling on the ratchet, and it started tearing. So, I don't even know how the lights worked or how the wiring was still in any kind of shape, because that's pretty bad. But I had to pull the benzels out of these fenders, because these fenders, being 55 series, only had the single headlight, where the 50 series had dual headlights. So I put the benzels off the tractor and the new fenders. And pulled all new wire up to the front. And these lights were a pain in the ass to get off. I was scared I was gonna break them, because I got the benzel off and I went to get the nuts off the back of the shells to get the lights off the benzel, so I could clean everything up. And I started twisting the stud. So I was like, shit, so I tore all the stuff off the lights, so it was just a bare shell. I had to cut the wires out of it, because with the spades on the back and the spades on the front, you can't get it through the stud anymore. So did all that, and then very gingerly with a map torch, I just heated the stud up, and then very carefully with an impact, because I knew with a wrench, even with heat, I was just going to end up twisting the stud off. I spin it off a little bit, and then run it back on, and spin it back off a little bit more, then run it back on, and spin it back off a little bit more, run it back on, and eventually I got the nuts worked off without hurting the lights. So, or wire wheeled the threads on the studs, put new nuts on. Everything went back together just like it should. So these lights have brand new wires in them. Naturally, the air compressor had to kick on. But I didn't bother pulling a new wire for the backlight, because what I want to do is come in here and cut a hole. And when I did the 1955, I added work lights to it. So I made a tool for the shop press where we can take a hole saw, cut a hole in here. Then I've got a die and a punch that I made up that I can put in the shop press and form this arc for the light to sit back in. And I'm going to add a second work light to the back of this. I'm going to do it to that benzel, because that one's not in as good a shape as this. Well, I mean, it's nice and straight, but the paint on it's not as good as this one. So, but I'm gonna wait to do that, because I just want to get this thing back together. So I'll pull new wires for that when I do it. And when I do it, I'm also probably going to go through and do an LED conversion on this and put all LED lights in it, including I want to get to, I'm sure there's a place that makes some dual-sided LED flashers. And I did manage to get the fender stripe off. Actually, it was way easier than what I thought. All I did was I took a heat gun, like that right there. And then a little plastic, this is a plastic scraper for applying body putty, or body filler. And really all I needed to use this for was to get under the first corner of it, because after that, decal's vinyl, and that heat softened it right back up, and I was just about able to go like that with it and peel the whole thing off once it got softened back up. So the only downside to it is there's obviously a very nice bright green spot here, and there's still some adhesive on it I got to finish getting off, but a power washer ought to peel that off, especially with some heat. And I think that deoxidizing wax we got, I ought to be able to kind of, I mean, I'm not going to be able to get that good spot to disappear completely, but I ought to be able to fade it in so that it won't be as noticeable. So, and apparently they had a canopy on this thing, because both these fenders had a couple extra holes in them. And there's one, and the other fender had that big old hole tore out, and then one back there, and so that's why I'm thinking they had just like a canvas canopy on it. But I'm not too worried about extra holes in the fenders, because if and when I ever upgrade to an 8-row white 5100, this will be the planting tractor, and there'll be a monitor on the fender anyway, so. But that's way down the road, because I can't afford one of them planters. That's why I got an 8-row Oliver that needs to be fixed. But anyway, gas go hold down and stick that one back on the tractor. Alright, now for the fun part. Believe it or not, that's the easy part. Okay. Now, it's worked a lot better on the other side, and there wasn't much shit in the way. Come on. Damn it. There's the hole. perfect. But I didn't have all this crap in the way. Normally you take these off with the bracket and everything, so you just gotta put the big bolts in the bottom, but I hate doing it that way because that bracket weighs about 50 pounds. 45, 50, somewhere in there. It's a heavy son of a bitch. Add that to the weight of the Fender. Basically, it was not fun putting it back on. Damn it. It's right there. Going in the hole, daggone it. First part is fighting the fact that it gets locked on the damn tire. Stick. Alright, had to become a little bit of a contortionist to get my legs in there to hold the bolts in while I reached or while I bent around and put the nuts on the top bolts, but I managed to get that thing on there by myself. It's kind of nice you smack the fender and it doesn't hit the tire anymore. They're a little scuzzy, but all that's just a little bit of oxidation and dust. It rubs right off, so I'm going to power wash it this fall when I get done with it. Everything will be good. Makes it look a lot better. Getting some decent fenders on there. And the nice thing is now I got a grab handle on both sides. Because before I didn't have one over here, but I got a step over here, so when you go to get on it, you'd be grabbing for it and there wouldn't be nothing there. So you get so used to having a handle there on the fender. So, anyway, last thing I got to do is change the seat slide out. Because this tractor had a cab on it way back when. And apparently, when they put the cab on it, the tails of the seat slide were too long and got in the way, so they just torched the bastards off. So, if you went to adjust, or if you go to adjust the seat, and you're not paying attention, you go for the ride of your life when it comes out the track and goes off the back of the tractor. I don't want to be having none of that. So, get that thing off of here and swapped out. You know, on second thought, I think I'll leave it just like this. Who needs a seat? I'll just stand up and drive it. Nah, not really. I like to stand up when I'm running tractors, but not the whole damn time. Well, the reason I don't like cab tractors is because I can't stand up. Because I don't care how comfortable you make a tractor seat, eventually you want to stand up and stretch your legs a little bit. I remember one time actually the last time I worked on the farm here north of town, I was running that Cat Challenger. I was in the seat of that thing for 14 hours chisel plowing. By the time I got out of that thing, I could hardly move my legs. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed every minute of it because it's a damn cat challenger. And I've never seen a sad person running a cat, but still, it would have been nice to be able to stand up every once in a while. New seat frame. This came from the same guy we got the fenders from. Man, this thing looks so much better with them fenders on there. Even dirty. Okay, now where did I put this? Wrong way. Looks a whole lot better without one fender touching the tire.
What did you say those came off of? 1755?
I thought they weren't on a tractor when you got them.
One of these must be set in further.
We never did measure the tires compared to the drawbar, I don't think.
Oh, I see what the issue is.
What?
Is there a washer on the bolt closest to the tire? Is there a washer under it back there?
Nope.
There's one in the front over here. Because I noticed that I contributed it to the bash fender, but that fender leans in. Huh. See how the tractor, the fender leans to the inside of the tractor?
Yeah.
That's probably why.
That one got a washer on it?
No.
Interesting. Wonder what the point of that was.
Apparently somebody's done pinion work on this tractor or something too.
Yeah, I saw that. Both sides are like, or at least that side's like it. I don't. Yeah, this side's not like, or this side's not whacked out, so they must have just had to work on that side. Come on. Pick up on the, yeah.
You see where there's a guy repopping that back bracket? They're on, you see him on eBay?
This one or the
No,
extension?
The one that holds the center link.
Oh, yeah.
And I think the ones he's making are actually heavier than the original. They look like they're about 1/4 inch material. But he's got them on eBay, the loop with the tab and the chain and the SMB bracket and the whole 9 yards on it is assembled.
Well, I think technically this one should, I think this should have the one like the 1600, shouldn't it?
I don't think so. Because there's nothing on this. This is a standard center link, so there's no place to put the hook.
Or sorry, the 1800, which just got the chain.
Well, the one on the 1800 I made.
Oh, I thought that was.
I made that tab and bolted it to the bottom of the toolbox.
Guess we'll look in the parts book and see what this one was like, but I could have swore it had one that went on those bolts. Maybe not. Maybe I'm thinking something else.
Alrighty. Every little bit you do makes them look that much better. Now I've got a good seat bracket on it, decent fenders that need cleaned up, but we'll get to that point later. Ended up, we had to take all the bolts out of this fender. That was fun. And hey, what, them bastards were in there. Had to drive them out. And they had washers stuck under here and under the front bolt to tip that fender in because it's right there. And this tire is actually in a 1/2 inch further than this tire, which makes up that difference right there. So we aren't going to screw with it for now, because the thing about the U-bolts on these axles is they're fine thread. No matter how much you try to clean, well, one, you can't really clean them up that great because you can't get anything in behind them, and yeah, I mean, you can try to clean them threads up, but we buy new, just get brand new U-bolts from Agco, or from, actually, Maybach has them custom made, and they're cheap as hell. I think they're only like $9 or $10 a pop, something like that. 'Cause they get them made in bulk, so they get one hell of a discount on them. So we just buy all new U-bolts. And there ain't no sense in doing that just yet, because we're going to put them dual hubs on there. So we'll get the tires adjusted right when we get to go to put the dual hubs on it. And then we also, when we go to do that, we're going to make a set of halves, or fender spacers, because when I go to put new tires on it, they're going to have to come up anyway. So we're going to make a set of, I guess we call them half spacers, because we just take a piece of 1-inch plate and cut it out kind of in the profile of the fender bracket. And then if you go back to putting the second video of putting tires on the 1600, I think I got video of making the spacers, because we did the same thing on that. Basically, we make a set of spacers with threaded holes in it so that we can move these fenders a half a hole over instead of having to go a full hole. Because if we move from here to here, there'd be one monster ass gap, and the fenders would come to about the center of the tire, and it just looks stupid as hell. So that'll happen this winter when I get them dual hubs put on there. And then the 55's getting new tires this winter, and then next winter that'll get brand new tires all the way around it. Oop, I think I put them in the wrong bin. Yep, put them in the wrong bin. Nope, they're in the right one. Never mind. So, but damn, that thing looks better with good fenders on it. It's even got racing stripes. I think I can blend them things in and make it look like they're almost not there, but we'll see. Either way, it's better than fenders that were on it. So I guess the last thing I gotta do is get this thing pulled out, sweep the floor up so I can put it back, and finish gutting the fenders that were on it, get what good parts off of it I can, because they're going to scrap, because there ain't no fixing those things. And while I pull it out, I guess I'll give the people what they want, because I know if I don't start it up, there's going to be people that complain about it. thing warm up a little bit. The 18 started so it can warm up. But I hate starting these things, moving them, and then shutting them right back off. It just, I'm not sure if it's hard on them or not, but it just seems like it would be. And as you can see, this thing's wet because it's freaking rained. I don't think it's done enough to set us back none. I still think, well, unfortunately, the breeze that was up died down, so. If a breeze kicks back up tonight, I don't know. May still be able to cut beans tomorrow afternoon, but unfortunately I think I'm pushed back into Sunday now, which I really did not need. Get used to having a seat in the same position for a while, and then when even if it moves one notch, you go to set it and it's like, wait a minute. So, man, that thing looks badass with duals on it. But anyway, I guess that does it for this one, and Lord willing, we will catch you tomorrow cutting beans, but I wouldn't hold my breath, so. Anyway, I guess we'll catch y'all on the next one. Oh, and before I forget, a correction to an earlier statement. I said earlier that thing had steel shells with steel benzels on it. I was wrong. This one's got lights like the 55 series, which are steel shells with rubber benzels. I could have swore this thing had steel on steel, but apparently not. So, yeah. Correction. So, yeah. That's it.